Hello and happy spooky season to everyone. Welcome back to season 2, episode 138 of Paranormal NL Podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, and YouTube. I'm your host, Jen. For tonight's show, let's give a big shout out to the Paranormal NL Podcast Alumni Network member with whom I discovered tonight's guest. A big shout out to Teal Grey, paranormal author, Reverend non-denominational, and paranormal investigator with Parahunters and Sacred Site Traveler. Superstitious Texas is one of her books she's working on with her podcast, and she's also doing, like I said, a new podcast. She has awesome books. Check her out. She was on season 2, episode 127, and she was on season 2, episode 132 with the guest I'm about to announce. But first, it's time to pull up your cozy chair and listen into your favorite podcast. Paranormal NL Podcast is a place where the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, and anywhere else in the world can share their paranormal experiences. PNL Podcast also believes in supporting people, places, and things to promote paranormal tourism and paranormal networking all over the world. A big thank you again to all the PNL Podcast alumni guests from season 1 and 2, and of course our fans. We want to hear your stories. Do you have any paranormal, metaphysical, horrific, UFO, cryptid creatures, folklore, historical, books, or just tales of the weird you'd like to share as a guest on my PNL podcast? Please reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or Gmail at paranormal.nl.podcast@gmail.com. Remember, after your episode, you'll become part of the PNL Podcast Alumni Network. And make sure you click on the bell, like, and subscribe and follow along on whatever platform you're listening in on and get updates for new episodes. Head on over to Facebook and join our group, Paranormal NL Podcast, and the Bog Team group. It's the official place to hang out in a fun and safe space and find upcoming new PNL episodes in the featured section of the group. We have a new branch of Paranormal NL Podcast with a new PNL Bog Team. It's a boots on the ground paranormal investigation team doing local historical investigations in Newfoundland. We were on CBC News tonight, and you might catch us on NTV News on Halloween. Our fans asked us, and Paranormal NL Podcast and the PNL Bog Team merch are now available on TeePublic with PNL official logos designed by PNL Podcast Alumni Network member, Mr. Robert Dumont. He was on season 1, episode 28 with his Devil's Toy Box, a 2-part episode. We have other Paranormal NL Podcast logos on TeePublic designed by local and other people from around the world. But now let's stop talking about merch and let's bring on the stage our guest. Come on in, all the way from Oklahoma. We got Jaime Mose. Welcome, Jaime.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How is the weather over in Oklahoma?
Well, we're getting a cold front right now, and so the wind is just crazy. So you may hear things bouncing around, but yeah,
we had snow in Labrador and West Coast Newfoundland. Yes,
oh
we
my
did.
goodness!
And even today there was a little bit of what we call wet snow and sometimes grapple. But
it's been like 90, 95 degrees here, and so our quote unquote cold front is only going to make it like down in the 70s.
Okay, send me some of that weather.
No for us for a while.
Now let's get spooky. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I hear a rumor you've got haunted objects and dolls and all kinds of stuff going on. Now, I previously met you on season 2, episode 132, and that was when you were in Denton, Texas with the Independent Order of the Oddfellows at the cemetery in Denton, Texas for the Denton's 31 Days of Halloween.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of fun. Yes, the Teal Grey was the one that organized that with the city of Denton, and so I was just down there just helping out, and I did take some of my dolls with me, and so that seemed to be a pretty big hit because I have probably, I think, like 21, 22 dolls now. But
Wow,
how it started out was I had found this one doll, and I don't have any abilities, just so you know. But for some reason, I have like a pull to certain dolls. And I didn't really know what it was or anything. And then I started figuring out that these dolls are haunted, or they have spirits attached to them. And so over time, I've bought my own dolls, but then I've also inherited some dolls because people would get them at like antique stores or at estate sales or whatever. And then they would start having nightmares or seeing shadow people, or different things were going on in their home. And so
Oh.
they got scared of the doll. And so they would ask me if I would take it. And I'm like, sure. And so I take them in, and when I bring them in, I have a talk with them, and I'll let them know that they are going to be taken care of here. I buy them their own little cases, and so they
I was
have their
gonna
own
say,
space.
are they in a little glass case or?
Yes, they get their own cases and they get their own space, but they have to behave. They cannot do anything crazy, because if they do, they will go out in storage and they won't get to stay in the house with everyone else.
Well,
And
that's
so,
good that you tell them right off the bat that. Do you have
oh yes,
anybody in the background there? If you turn the light on or something that we could
uh,
see?
actually yes.
Yeah? Who do you have
There's a
there?
couple. Yes, this is Daniel. There he is.
No,
He's a
he's
little.
not
Whoop.
in his glass cage. He's out.
No, he's too big. He has like a little thing at the bottom, and I've got to
Oh,
figure
okay.
out. Yeah, he's on a little scooter thing, and so I need to find something for him a case for him. He's too big. So right now he just sits on the floor. But he's told me, all my dolls have told me a lot about themselves. Let me back up. I don't speak to them like, just speak to them. I use all my equipment. I have spirit
I was
boxes.
just
Of
gonna
course, I
say,
have
what are you
dowsing
doing?
rods.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, and things like that. So I can speak to him, because again, I have no abilities. But he came from Chicago apparently, and he said that he was part of a gang at one point, and that he unfortunately was disemboweled, and he does not know where his body is. But his name is Daniel. And then I've got
No, wait, did he tell you how he wound up in the doll?
no, he didn't. I always tell people that I feel like a lot of the reason that they attach to the dolls are because children take care of dolls like, they're very important pieces of their life. And so they hug them, they talk to them, have little tea parties with them. Well, that's what everybody wants, is to be loved and hugged and that kind of thing. And so I feel like that's a lot of the reason they attach to dolls, is
That makes
because they get
sense,
a lot
Jamie,
of
yeah.
extra attention. And
Okay.
so, yeah. And, but anyway, and then sometimes the dolls, it's actually the owners, maybe their grandmother gave it to them, or, somebody important in their life gave it to them. And that's one of the most important things, because a lot of women do. They keep their dolls all through their lives.
It's
And so,
interesting you mentioned that, Jamie. I have a doll that my father gave to my mother when I was born. It's the first doll I ever owned, and I still have it. It's one of them China dolls.
yes. And so, see, and that's why a lot of people attach to those, is because, they want to make sure that they're taken care of,
Mm,
and things like that. And so, but that's why I feel like they attach to dolls. But also,
interesting.
we've found a lot of different things that they attach to. We found them attached to an armoire, things as simple as a hairbrush. It's just, if it's something very important to them, they tend to attach to it just to make sure that it's taken care of.
Okay. Yeah, I like that theory. It makes sense. Tell me more about the people behind you there, or the dolls.
Yes. Let me grab another one here. Sorry, I hope my butt isn't sticking up in the air. But her name
No, we
is.
can't see your butt.
But her name is Akila.
Akira?
Yeah, she is an older, just a cloth doll, and she actually died when she was 18. She never married. She never had any kids. But what happened to her is, she was, I guess, walking down some stairs, and the stairs broke, and one of them stabbed her, and that's
Wow.
what killed her.
Ugh.
Yes. And so, but yeah, again, they tell me a lot of information about themselves. They tell me when they were born, when they died, how they died. They tell me about their family, just so many different things, I've got a lot of information on a lot of the dolls. And so
Jamie,
it's
do you find it's only just old dolls or new dolls too, or just
both,
antique? Both.
both.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I do have a few newer dolls. Let's see. She's really big. She's kind of hard to get down. Her name is Georgia. And every one of them are different. They all have different personalities, of course, because they were people before, and they all have different personalities.
Right.
So some of them are quieter than others. Like
Mhm.
Akila, she talks a lot. Daniel
So if
talked
you got the
quite a bit.
spirit box on, then do you want to turn the spirit box on for us and see if anybody will say anything?
Oh, I don't even have it out. I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting that. So I don't even have any of my equipment out right now.
Okay.
But when we were at the cemetery, actually a guy did say, would you show me that these dolls are really haunted. And so I had my dowsing rods out. And so I had 3 dolls there. And so I said, well, who wants to talk to this guy? And so the dowsing rods went straight to Akila. And so, I asked him, I said, what do you want to ask her? Well, of course, he went blank and he goes, I don't know. I can't think of anything. And I said, well, so I started out, is your name Akila? Yes. I said, I asked something like, did you die? Oh, did you die from an illness? No. I said, did you die from falling down the stairs? Yes. And so I started asking her questions. So I was trying to verify the information that I had already given them about her. And so if I asked her something that was wrong, she would answer no. And
Did
so
you let that guy hold the dowsing rods by any chance and let him ask questions?
No, actually I did. He was a little bit wigged out about it.
Oh,
And so
okay. Yeah.
after that, he was like, oh my gosh, so it really floored him about, what all was said and everything.
Yeah.
But when we were there, we did let other people use our dowsing rods. They used our spirit boxes and things like that.
Right.
So, and I was telling them, I said, you can feel the energy and you can feel the tug on. And so a lot of them, when they got it, they were like, oh my gosh, they were so surprised about how easy they were to use. Some people pick it up super fast. But other people, I tell them, what's your energy and your spirit guides? They have to kind of get used to using the dowsing rods and how they work and everything. And so some people, I don't want to say got frustrated, but they were a little bit disappointed, I guess, because they weren't able to use them as easy as other people.
Right,
and I told them it just takes practice, because I was the same way. When I very first started using dowsing rods, I was so frustrated because I'm like, why do these not work like other people do? After a while of using them and finally now I can just pick them up and they go, yes, no, just answer me right away. And so it's nice. And sometimes some people, it does take practice.
Yeah, I've noticed, like when you do the, ghost hunts and stuff like that, and if you have or let other people use them, like you said, some people, take them and use them like a duck to water, but others, they need a little while to figure it out because they're kind of banging into each other and stuff, right? Because they've never used it before and they don't know what to expect. But like you said, when you do get something, it is interesting. But who else do you have there? You can turn the camera around if you want, or pick up somebody else.
Let me see who I do have. Oh, let me grab one.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm knocking things over.
No, I'm looking at your pillow. I like it. It says boo.
Thank you.
Spooky pillow.
Yes. I kind of have my house decorated for Halloween. Not as well as I usually do, but it's been a crazy month. But can you see him?
Yes. Okay. Who's this?
Okay. So he's a newer doll that I bought. New to me, but he is actually a doll from the 1930s. And so
for the people who are listening on the podcast, I guess you can describe him. He looks like he doesn't have any hair, right?
Nope, he's bald, but his hair's kind of painted on, I guess you would say, and kind of like molded onto him. And then he's got like a christening gown on.
Is he
porcelain? But his name is, I'm sorry?
Is his face and all that, is it porcelain or plastic?
I'm not sure what you would call it, because underneath him, he almost looks wooden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I guess it would be maybe plaster or something.
Could be. All right.
But his name is Chance, and I was very surprised by him because whenever I do go do either paranormal conferences or something like that, and I do a presentation on my dolls, I always ask them who wants to go, because I don't want to just take them against their will if they don't want to talk to people. And this is the first time he's actually volunteered to go. So that surprised me. And then when I got there, he was pretty active. He was answered some questions and things like that. So I think he was kind of just more taking things in and like wasn't sure. But he died from I think it was yellow fever. Him and pretty much his whole family died. So that's really sad. But he gave me all of his siblings' names, and then let's see. He said it was an epidemic, and he was born in 1880. He was 14 when he died.
14.
And then he keeps calling himself a good ghost.
A good
So,
ghost. Okay.
yeah, he's a good ghost. That's what he tells me.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because sometimes
we
you
hope
gotta watch
so.
them. Yeah, some people say
Exactly.
it starts
But
off
yeah,
like that, but then it turns twisted, right?
yeah, but again, like a lot of these, or some of the dolls I've gotten, I've not had any trouble with any of them, even though they freaked out other people. But again, I have a talk with them. I'm like, y'all, you better behave. We don't want to put
That
you
was gonna
outside.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Have you had any weird experiences with them besides, like, after you put them in their
Well,
place? Did they do anything weird?
only one time. I'm pretty. I don't know what the word is. I communicate with them quite a bit. And I always try to tell them where I'm going, when I'll be back. But there was one time I forgot to tell them that I was going on a vacation and I was going to be gone for about 6 days. And I was in
Uh-oh.
such a hurry, I was grabbing my stuff and I just took off out the door. Well, I was already down the road and I thought, oh no, I didn't tell them when I would be back. And I thought, oh, well, whatever. I didn't really think anything. Well, then when I got back, everything in the house was perfect. Nothing moved. All the pictures are straight. Everything's normal. But I go to open the refrigerator and everything had been pushed to the front. And when I opened the door, everything fell out on the floor. And I was like,
That's
what
weird.
in the world? So I started
Hmm,
thinking,
okay.
was there an earthquake? Did somebody hit my house? I'm thinking all these things. But of course, there's no damage to my house. And then everything was straight. And I thought, I guess it was them. I was like, maybe they did that just to say, excuse me. But, you didn't tell us where you were going. So we just raided your fridge, I guess.
But we trapped
But
your friend. Did you
but that
ask
was the
them? Did you
but
use
that was
your
the only.
equipment and ask them, did they do it?
Actually, I didn't. I just assumed it was them, and because I could not figure out what in the world would have pushed everything to the front, and then for it to everything fall out on the floor. So, but anyway, but that's the only kind of strange thing. There's a couple. I have one girl that she always turns towards me. I mean, not just like flipping turns, but over time I'll set her straight in her little case, but then over time she'll start turning and she'll be facing me because I have a certain place that I sit on the couch. So she'll turn and face me. And so I finally just quit moving her because she just turns and
Right.
faces me every time.
No,
So
of course, the paranormal investigator debunk, right? Like, are you live, like, near, a railway or train or something, or nothing that would shake the house and have her move?
and she's the only, or well, there's two that move, but they move opposite directions. So the one she moves towards me and the other one moves away from me.
Hmm.
And so, but all the other ones, they all stay straight. There's nothing,
Why does
you
the other
know,
one move away, do you think?
I don't know. I've been meaning to pull him down and ask him about that. So I'm not sure what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Now my next question is, have you had them interact with each other? Now that would be weird.
I have not seen them do anything with each other.
Okay.
So
Catch them
yeah,
on a spirit box having a conversation or something, you
yeah.
know?
Now I have had them try to talk to me over each other, whenever, and I have to tell them no, just one at a time. So now I've learned because I had them like kind of just sitting around me. And so I learned now I don't pull, I just pull one down at a time and I say, this is who I'm talking to, so everybody has to wait their turn and then I'll talk to you later. So anyway, I did learn that on my own because again,
Now when you pull them out to talk to them, do you take them out of their glass?
not usually. I usually just go ahead and leave them in.
Yeah, and then when you travel with them?
Oh yes, they get, I wrap them in bubble wrap.
Mhm.
And then I have a special bag that I carry them in. It's kind of softer. So that way, because I don't want to scratch their cases either, but of course I don't want to break them. And
Right.
so I try to make sure they're well padded and be very careful with them when I move them. And then also when I take them with me too, I always have a sign that I put out to please do not touch the dolls. Because I do promise them that. I'm like, nobody's going to touch you. Nobody's going to bother you, and
Okay.
so we're just going to go and I'm going to show you and talk about you. And that's pretty much it. So.
Have you
But
ever
yeah,
had people, like, try to do or talk with them themselves or try to touch them like that or have any weird
well
experiences with people who did do that?
well,
Just
some of them have tried to talk to them, but of course, without anything like a spirit box or anything, they're not gonna be able to
mhm.
talk back. But, now I had one lady that came up and she wanted to tap on the glass, and I about freaked out. I was like, "You do not touch these dolls." I said, "I have the sign there." I was like, "That's very disrespectful." So I kind of jumped down her throat pretty good because I was like, I've
Okay.
promised
Yeah.
them that nobody would mess with them. So
Yeah.
don't do it, because I thought you're going to get me in trouble with them.
You'll get home and they'll start throwing stuff out of your fridge on the floor.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't want them to tear up my house or do something crazy.
So where do you get I know you mentioned like different places where you can get them, but is there certain places that you have like a
Mm-mm.
favorite way to get them?
Nope. A lot of times if I'm I can't even talk, in an antique store, again, I'll kind of feel like a really strong pull to that doll. And there may be 20 dolls sitting there, but I may only feel that one pull to that one doll. And so I know. So sometimes when I go into these antique stores, I'll take either my K2 meter or something with me, and then I'll kind of
Okay.
double check it. And if it
Okay.
lights up, it goes all the way to red or whatever, then I'm like, oh yeah, there's something attached to this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
sometimes I go ahead and buy them and bring them home, but then sometimes I don't. I go ahead and leave them where they are because I'm just getting so many that I really don't have any place to put them. So I'm trying to just not,
Do you have
get any
anybody
more
else?
unless
Do you want to introduce or
I,
you have a
well,
lot? You say you have so
these are
many.
probably the most talkative ones that I've shown you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
And have you adopted any or that didn't talk? They just kind of hung out. They didn't get anything off the box with them, or
yes, I was going to mention that earlier. I have one doll, and all she's ever told me was her name. That's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever gotten out of her. So, and her name's Georgia. So, but that's all I know about her. I can't get her to say anymore. So, and I've
Yeah.
tried to make her feel comfortable. I've even just set her with me on the couch and, try to be friends with her. But yeah, she's not really said a whole lot. So
So no negative experiences with these dolls.
no,
That's a
no.
good thing. That's a good thing. Like you said, you kind of put them in their place before. Do you do saging and all that kind of stuff, or you
I
just
do.
talk to them? Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Before
Well,
and
and the
after you
saging,
talk to them, or just when you bring them in the house?
no, I don't do on the dolls. It's just for me because I go to so many different haunted places and, a lot of times there's negative energies there and things like that. So I just to protect myself, I will sage and use holy water and that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. I know Teal is really good about suggestions on what to do for that. I think on her episode, she went in some further detail on that kind of a stuff, for
Yes.
sure.
And she makes her own spray. Now that I keep for emergencies. So I keep that on me whenever I go any place. And that way, if I do run into something negative or whatever, I can spray myself down with that or spray somebody else, if they're having any issues or anything. But yeah,
Are
that's
your family
for
afraid to
emergency.
come to your house, Jamie?
No,
No. Are they?
but now I have had some like workers come in,
Yeah.
like like my cable went out one time, and so a
Right.
cable worker came in, and everybody else knows about these things. And I don't have just dolls. Like I have like crazy stuff. Like I have this gnome. He's a
Okay.
murderous gnome. He has, I'm sorry, I keep messing up the camera. So he has a knife behind his back,
That's very Halloweeny.
Yes. But I mean, I'm Halloween 24/7, because of me being a paranormal investigator. So, but anyway, but I just have like crazy stuff like that sitting around the house. I have ghosts that stay out 365 days a year is what I'm trying to say. I keep them out. And so anyway, so this guy walks in my house and he's like looking around going, And so he fixes my things, and all that. And then he gets ready to leave. He goes, what is the deal with those dolls? He said, they are freaking me out. And then he told me the one was like staring him down. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, they are all haunted. And I said, and they're probably wary of you because they don't know who you are. But anyway, but yeah, it freaked him out pretty
Did
good.
he
So,
like run out of your house, or he was like,
oh, he
okay,
was
and
ready
just
to go. Yeah.
yeah.
Once he got his stuff done, he was ready to get out of here. So,
Are you on your cell phone?
yes, I am.
So you can like walk to them and show us some other people that you have there, dolls.
Well, not to be, but
Yeah.
I have it on a stand. Yeah. And so I hate to move it
Oh,
because if I get it off, I won't be able to get it straight again.
it'll mess up the screen.
Yeah.
Tell us more about some of your experiences that you had or some of the places that you're going soon. I know we talked off air on some of the places that you're going to be going.
Yes. So my next escapade, I guess you could say, is going to be it's called History, Haunts, and Legends, and it's in Jefferson, Texas. And so that's a paranormal conference that she has every fall. And so I'll be going there, and we're going to actually be hosting a house. And what I mean by that is they have several different locations all around Jefferson that people get to come into and actually investigate. And so I'm not sure which house we're going to have, but we're going to be hosting a house. And so we will be there when the participants get there. And then we tell them the history of the home and, the hauntings and that kind of thing. And then we'll kind of do like we did at the cemetery. We'll let them use our equipment and then let them investigate and stuff like that. And just kind of let them have at the house for a little while. And then they move on to the next location.
I love
And
that.
so,
We did that.
yeah, it's a really neat paranormal conference to go to.
We did that a couple of weekends ago at the Torbay History House and Museum here in Newfoundland.
Ooh,
And
okay.
we had two groups of people come in, like we were totally sold out. And the public, it was, I think, a 360 win. The public liked it. We had fun. And the museum, all the proceeds went to them. So it was great. It was really fun to see the public in action and trying to use the different equipment. It was fun.
Oh, yeah, they love it. And then after that, I'll be going to Missouri State Penitentiary with the Wraith Chasers.
Love the Wraith Chasers. Got to give a big shout out to them.
Yes, and I'm wearing my Ghost Mob shirt, so I will be on an episode. Excuse me, of the Ghost
Chris
Mob.
and Mike, if you're on, come on. We'd love to have you if you're listening. Yeah, show off your shirt.
But yeah, it should be coming out just pretty much any time. There's already one episode of Ghost Mob out, and it's on Prime Video. And
Ghost Mob. Okay, everybody watch Ghost Mob.
And so the second episode there's already like a little teaser out about it, a trailer. And so it should be out just anytime soon. And as soon as it goes out, I'll be posting on my Facebook and Instagram and all of that.
Okay, coming out on time. Right?
I do a lot of their events. I try to do as much as I can. And in May, we'll actually be going to Ireland for 10 days.
Oh, fun.
And it is a whole nothing but a haunted vacation. And so we're going to get to stay in a haunted castle. We're going to investigate like the Blarney Castle. I can't even tell you what all we're going to get to do, but it's 10 days worth. And it is already, no, excuse me. I was going to say it's sold out, but I think they got 5 more tickets. That's all they have left for that event. So it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited and ready to go. I've been with them to the UK twice now. We went this last March. We went to York. We went to Knaresborough. We several places around the UK. And then the first time we went was last October, and we went to a 1,000-year-old abbey, Kirkstall Abbey. So, but anyway, but yeah, they always have awesome events. It's fun, and I like the way they do it. They break up into smaller groups, and then you at least get to investigate with them once, during the night in one of the groups. So it's a lot of fun. They usually do a really, really well organized event.
Sounds fun.
And also now,
and you know what, Jamie, if you like Ireland and you like the UK, you would love Newfoundland and Labrador, because we're very Irish, and we're over here in Newfoundland in St. John's, like downtown St. John's. It's the oldest city in North America.
Oh, wow. Well,
I'll
have to put that on my list. One of these days I'll have to come there.
Without bumping into a ghost. I'm going to add to the stage now a couple different things here.
Okay.
There's some pictures. I'll go back and I'll start at the beginning here. Maybe you can make a few comments on some of the pictures that I got pulled up here.
Okay.
Now, this is you. Respectful ghost hunting. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yes, me and a friend of mine, we co-wrote a book, and it's what we're trying to do is let everybody know that, and I've heard so many investigators say this too, that, these spirits were people before and they're people now. And so please be respectful. When you go to them, don't do like you see some of the TV shows and going and demanding that they do this and demanding they show themselves and that kind of thing. We've learned that if you go in just like you would someone's home,
Oh, I think your audio came off. Hold on, folks. We lost Jamie. We'll bring her back on shortly. She'll be right back. While she's gone there, we're going to look at some of the stuff we got. Now, this is the back of the book. We wrote Respectful Ghost Hunting as a guide to help others learn from our combined years of investigating. By sharing our stories with you, we hope to make your ghostly adventures a little more safe and fun while respecting both the living and the dead. And who doesn't like a good ghost story? So that's Susan Hill and Jamie. And you know what? I mean, that is so true what she said about being respectful. Here she is back again. We were talking about being respectful, and I pulled up the back of your book there and talking about, being respectful with the ghosts. Like you're going into somebody's house and having a cup of tea, right?
Jen, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Give me a thumbs up. Hold on. She's still got technical difficulties there. She's going to try to turn her cam off and on. So there she is.
Jen?
I'm going to remove her from the stage and I'll put her back on. Hello, can you hear me now?
Jen, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? No. She said that they were having a bit of a storm over there. Can you hear me now, Jamie? We got technical difficulties. Well, how about you go out and come back in, girl? I'll keep showing some of your pictures. So, yeah, she's having some technical difficulties there. Now, you may notice some of the folks on this picture. When she jumps back on, she'll explain this picture. And we'll come back to that one when she comes on. And here she is here, co-author of a book, Respectful Ghost Hunting, an Insight into the Paranormal. And it looks like that was released back in 2019. She's got lots of friends there on her Facebook page. And there she is here at the Ohio State Reformatory back in May 2024. And here she is back on stage. Can you hear me now, Jamie?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Again, we're having a lot of wind, so I don't know what happened.
I would imagine it's the wind. And we're going through now. I'll go back to this picture here. How did you bump into these fine folks?
They were at Missouri State Penitentiary, so I got to investigate with them. But I've also investigated with them at a few different other places. I actually met...
now, for the people who can't see this, you want to explain who we're looking at again?
Oh, these are the ghost hunters.
Yep.
There's Steve Gonzalez, Grant Wilson, and Dustin Perry.
Yep. And there's where you were over here, Ohio State, right?
Yes, that's Ohio State Reformatory.
Yep. And you were talking about where you met them and other places you've been with them.
Yes. With I'm sorry, I just tell them blank. With Grant Wilson and Steve Gonzalez, I've met them, or I've been with them at Salem. Right. So we did some stuff in Salem, and then I was trying to think of where else I've investigated with them. I didn't investigate, but I did meet them again at Las Vegas. Now, Dustin Perry, he's investigated here in Oklahoma a couple of times, right, and in Texas, and so I got to investigate with him a few times around this area.
Fun, yeah. I mean, that must have been really fun. Here's
they're great. They're great.
TWC.
Let's see. Yes, that's also. I'm not sure why I have so many pictures of Missouri State Penitentiary, but yes, that's them.
And it's a fun place by the looks of it.
Oh yes, yes. The Villisca Axe Murder House, that's in Villisca, Iowa. I actually just went back there this past weekend. So I got to see Johnny Hauser. He's the face of the house. And that place is amazing. I don't usually get a lot of activity there, but just being there and knowing the history of it and everything, it's really cool. And actually, they have a bunch of dolls up in the attic now.
Oh,
and so I have made friends with a couple of the dolls.
Okay. Did they talk to you?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Did they tell you anything about the axe murders or no?
Not really. Mainly just about themselves. And I didn't get to do a whole lot with them because, there was also other people in the house and that kind of thing. Because I haven't gotten to spend the night yet. I am going to spend the night one of these days. So that's on my bucket list to do. Oh, that was Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois. That is an awesome place to investigate. Now, when we were there, it was freezing cold and it was snowing. Or, excuse me, I'm from Oklahoma, so to me, freezing cold was 18 degrees, but you may
That's
be
our
calling.
summer weather, girl. And here's you at South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Yes. Yes. And so that place too is amazing. We got tons of activity there. I love that place. So that's been a bucket list place of mine. So I've only been there 3 times now. And I just went there for the first time. I think it was back in February.
Okay. And this is, where is this? This looks like somewhere in the UK, is it?
Oh, no? I can't even see it myself.
It's York Ghost Merchants over the sign.
Yes. That's in York, England or UK.
Okay.
And that place is right there on the Shambles. Do you know what the Shambles
No, tell me what the Shambles.
Okay. So the Shambles is like the oldest merchant row in the world, apparently.
Okay.
And so, yes, it was originally built in like I think early to mid 1500s, and it's still a merchant row now.
Wow.
Yes, but of course, with it being so old, and of course, a lot of hauntings that's spoken about in York. But they actually sell specialized little ghosts. And so they're all collectible, and they make different colors and out of different textures and that kind of thing. And so I was so excited to get to go there, and I got me a few of the ghosts while I was there.
I see you had a lot of shopping bags there.
Yes. Now, the next picture is actually, have you heard of Bonnie and Clyde?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So that is that's where they were shot and killed. That's the memorial for that.
That's it right there.
Yes, that's in Gibbsland, Louisiana. And there's actually a little store there now, or gift shop, I should say, and a museum all about Bonnie and Clyde. And if you ever get to go to that place, it is super cool because they have a lot of items from Bonnie and Clyde. They actually have like some of their bloody hair and their bloody clothes. Wow. And of course, stuff from when they were alive, like some guns and some other clothes and jewelry from Bonnie. So it's really, really cool. Gibbsland, Louisiana.
Put some cigarettes or bullets or something on top of that memorial up there. You could barely see in the background. You never know what you're going to find at these memorials. Do you remember where this place is?
Yes, that's in New Orleans. That's Marie Laveau's tomb.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like an interesting place to walk around for sure.
And yes. And this one is at McRaven Manor. That is in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And so, yes. And that place is awesome. And I'm dying to go back to spend the night because when I was there, I was actually inside on the second floor, and you see the balcony there.
Yes.
Well, I took a picture outside towards the balcony, and I actually got a picture of a Confederate soldier.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. The tour guide was amazed, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you got to come back. You got to come back." And so, yeah, that was so cool. Love that place.
Good hit for sure. Yeah.
Yes. And then this is Madame LaLaurie's, the LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans. Now, I have not ever it's privately owned, so you can't go in, or I can't go inside, but other people like Jack and Ozzy Osbourne have gotten to go in there and investigate and things like that. But I've only got to go to the inside. Now that is also in New Orleans. That's the oh my goodness, I'm drawing a complete blank. That's the big cathedral on Jackson Square.
Oh, Jackson Square. Okay.
Yes. And this is the Myrtles Plantation, which is in St. Francisville, Louisiana. That place is also amazing. It's extremely haunted. When I was there, I actually saw the apparition of a little boy. And then we got lots of activity with our dowsing rods, our cat balls, the K2 meters, everything.
Where did you see the little boy? Was he in the house or outside?
No, it was in the house. It was in the Admiral's room.
Admiral's room. Okay.
Yes, he was on the outside of the house, his room is like an outside room kind of, but it's in the house, but you have an outside door that you can get in it. And then you have your own private little area and all this. It's more like a suite. And so anyway, we were in there, and I was trying to play with the kids, and I was doing the hide and seek.
Okay.
And so I said, I'm going to count to 5. And I said, and then somebody, you need to peek out at me. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then as soon as I let my hands down, there was a little boy peeking out around the corner at me. So I immediately jump up, and I know there's nobody in this room with us because the doors are locked. But I jumped up and went and looked just to make sure there was nobody in that room, and the doors were again, they were locked. And so, yeah, but the horrible thing about it was our cameras were facing me. And he was on the other side of me, so our cameras didn't get it. But
isn't that the worst when you see stuff and you don't have the camera or something, right?
That's always how it happens, is you either have it faced wrong or something. I don't know. Now, this is Edinburgh Castle in Edinburgh, Scotland.
So that's an amazing place, girl.
Yeah, I try. I love to travel.
Get anything interesting there?
Not really. Of course, we were there just doing the public tour, and so there were people everywhere. So
yeah.
And this is Dalhousie Castle in the one prior was Dalhousie Castle in Bonnyrigg, Scotland.
Bonnyrigg. Okay.
That's a 600-year-old castle, and we got some good stuff there.
Nice.
It was King David, I believe, the 6th, I think, that built the castle. And of course, he had his wife, but he had a mistress too. And so the mistress's name was Catherine. And once the queen found out about it, Catherine disappeared, and they never even found her body or anything. Well, we were down in the basement, or down in the dungeon area, and I said, "Is there a Catherine here?" And I got an EVP that said Catherine.
Okay.
So yeah. So and we got some other things.
To Catherine. What else?
And this is Bath, UK. These are I'm sorry. Yeah, these are the Roman baths in Bath, UK. And that was amazing. Of course, we didn't get to do any ghost hunting or anything there. We just did the tour. But my goodness, that place is just amazing. I loved it there.
That's really cool.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And this is actually
South Pittsburgh again. And that's the sign talking about the ghost mob.
Love it. The Wraith Chasers. Check them out. For sure, for sure. Chris and Mike. And there's yourself. I love your smile. Now, where are you at over here?
These are the Hellfire Caves. And oh gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank. I think it's Wycliffe, UK.
Looks like UK for sure.
But it is the UK, but it's the Hellfire Caves. It's not the one in Ireland, it's in the UK. And these are the caves. And so we actually scheduled a time that was late in the day and was the last tickets of the day. And so when we went in there, there was no one else in there. So we got to investigate for like an hour and a half by ourselves. We got a rock thrown at us. My friend got poked in the side. We heard voices. I was trying to think, something else happened. Anyway, some of our equipment was going off. Oh my goodness. I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams that we would get to actually investigate there. Awesome place. I loved it.
That sounds like you had a lot of fun there.
Oh, yes. And then this is Limp Mansion, which is in St. Louis, Missouri. And so this place, there's been a lot of death there. There's been a lot of suicides there. And so it's very, very haunted. Again, this is a place I've not gotten to spend the night. The last time we tried, they were full. You have to book way ahead of time. But we have been in there, and we got to go upstairs, and we did investigate just a little bit because we were just touring the place basically. And we got a little bit of activity with our cat balls and with our K2 meters and things. So I'm dying to go back. I want to go back and spend the night and investigate.
Yeah, I love it when you get a wee bit of activity on the go. Now, this one looks a bit old. Where's this at?
Yes, this is in Helena, Texas. Oh my goodness. I cannot think of the name of the mansion right now to save my life. But anyway, the Kling brothers, I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They were on the show called Ghost Lab. And they were the ones that they did an investigation here, and they got some crazy EVPs. They do talk about it at some of their presentations and things. And so I decided to go check it out myself, and it was really, really neat place. But Helena is like, of course, it used to be a regular town, but they've kind of moved the older buildings all into one area. And then, of course, they put a big fence around it. And so there's their post office, there's the courthouse, there's like a stable, or I guess it would be like a blacksmith shop or whatever, a little farmhouse. And then this mansion is there. And it is it's beautiful and amazing. And everything's pretty much all original with the mansion. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you what cemetery this is. I go to
Yeah,
so
isn't
many
this
cemeteries.
OOF, the Order of Oddfellows Cemetery? Looks like
Uh,
it.
it could be. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, I recognized it.
Yeah. But,
This
well, I
way
can't
is
believe you
there.
recognized it.
Yeah, I did because I remember in the background when y'all were kind of walking around, I remember seeing that, yeah, those few statues there.
But
Let's
yeah,
see. This your
that's my
setup.
table.
Yeah, that's your
Yes, and
table.
those were my dolls.
Yep. Yeah, you can see a little bit more now. That's the one in the middle who you showed us, and
Yes,
the
Chant.
one there on the left, who's that with the beige outfit on?
That
Or the bright,
was
I mean.
oh my goodness. I'm drawing a complete this is awful. And she's sitting here looking at me.
And you got one that looks like Winnie the
Rebecca.
Pooh.
Her name was Rebecca.
Does that
I'm
one,
so sorry.
have anything in particular that they talked to you about?
She actually was a prostitute at one point, and her spirit came from Enid, Oklahoma, and she was actually hung. She said what happened is I guess she was trying to poison one of her gentleman callers or whatever. She didn't mean to poison him. She was just trying to, I guess, knock him out, and she was going to rob him. She gave in too much and it killed him. So
Whoops.
so
Okay.
she was hung.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
how
So
about the person over
she's
here with the, let's see, the gray outfit on?
no, that's Aquila. That's the one I had already
Okay.
introduced. And then
And the one,
Chant.
yeah, and Chance. And then we got a teddy bear here. Is the teddy bear doing
Oh,
anything?
that's just the Boo Buddy. That's the junior.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you find that works pretty good with you, the Boo Buddy?
Yes, I do with kids. That works really well with kids. And
Yeah.
again, in the Sally house, whenever I was talking to the little girl spirit there, yes, she was playing with the Boo Buddy. She was lighting it up. So
Yeah, I find that the kids like to play with the cat balls too, like you mentioned
yes,
earlier. Let's
yes,
see.
they love those.
Yeah, and now we're back again to your book. Is there anything else that you want to say about the book?
Just you can get it on Amazon. And I believe it's still on Amazon Kindle. I'm sorry, on Kindle. So, but yeah, it's on Amazon. So if anybody would like to go get it, you can get it there. I do usually keep a few copies with me. So if you see me anywhere and you'd like for me to sign it, I can sign one for you.
Okay, so make sure you check out and find Jamie. I'm going to put you back up on the stage here and take that off. And tell us now, Jamie, if people want to find you and go ghost hunt with you and meet some of your dolls, where can they find you on your socials? And I think you talked about where you're going to be soon.
Yes. On Facebook is usually probably the best place to go because I make sure and post everything there. I do use Instagram and then TikTok, but Facebook is probably the best. And it's just Jaime Mose. So JAMIEMOSE.
Everybody follow Jamie, and I hope everybody has a happy Halloween. And Jamie, give a shout out to your fans.
Well, Chris and Mike, again, if you look for us on Ghost Mob, that should be coming out pretty soon with the Wraith Chasers.
Yahoo! Woohoo! Happy spooky Halloween. Everybody follow Jamie and check out her with the Wraith Chasers on the Mob and check out her book and all of her cool haunted dolls. Thanks again, Jamie, for being on. I really enjoyed having you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We'll do a quick off here.